Hello and welcome to another episode of Chasing 48. I am Zach Harley. This is a Ghost Runner Media production. Appreciate you joining me on this first day of June of 2021. That means we are already 2 months into the Major League Baseball season. I just can't get over it. I can't get over that we're already 2 months into the season, that it's the 1st of June, summer is here, school is out. Let's get ready to roll. Appreciate you joining me. As I said, I am Zach Harley. This is episode number 10. We did it. We made it to 10. We can fill out all 10 digits now on the hands. Some of you didn't think I'd make it to 10, but here we are doing episode number 10. Hope to do a billion more. So thanks for joining me here. Got a lot to get to. Crazy week for the Indians. Some good, some bad on June 1st today. They sit at 29 and 24. 3.5 games out of first place behind these Chicago White Sox, who are just red hot. And of course, I'll get to that a little later in the AL Central roundup. Gonna get to the rotation fallout. Zach Plesac hits his hand, goes out for who knows how long. So what happened because of that? We'll get to that. But I want to start with this weekend / yesterday, Monday. The Indians played 29 games 29 games. Yeah, well, they have. But no, they've played 29 innings in 32 hours. That's not how that's supposed to go. 29 innings in 32 hours. But they did it, and they split them. They won 2 of the 4, which isn't bad. But get this. So I'm looking it up, and the last time that the Indians played back-to-back doubleheaders was the year 2000. So I looked at that year. I didn't expect to see anything crazy. I just wanted to see who it was against. All 4 games were against the Boston Red Sox, okay? They were makeups from back in April, so they happened in late September. The rainouts happened in April, so they scheduled them for 2 back-to-back doubleheaders in late September. But the weird thing for me was it turned this into a 5-game series within 3 days because they played the Boston Red Sox just 1 game on Tuesday, September 19th. So on September 19th of 2000, Cleveland loses to Boston, and then they sweep the doubleheader the next day, and then they split the doubleheader the day after that. So they take those, but what was more funny, to me at least, before they played Boston, they played the Yankees 4 times, but before they played the Yankees, they played 3 against Boston. So they played Boston 8 times in 9 days. That's incredible to me. I don't know why. It's just a weird thing that I find funny on the schedule that they ended up playing Boston 8 times in 9 days with 4 games against the Yankees thrown in the middle of there. But I just thought that was a little fun thing. So anyways, the Indians, the 2021 Indians, played 29 innings in 32 hours. Saturday, they play against Toronto. Game 1, they lose 4-1. Savali struggled. That was rough to watch. That was rough to see, huh? 6 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, a walk, a K, 2 dingers. He gave up more home runs than strikeouts. That's crazy. The offense, they get 4 total hits. Naylor goes yard for the only run of the game for the Tribe. Game 2, Tribe bounces back. They put up 4 runs in the 6th inning. Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, they have an RBI single in that inning. And then bottom of the 7th, this was nuts, right? Bottom of the 7th against Toronto on Saturday. Tyler Chatwood, he's the pitcher for Toronto, right? He walks the bases loaded. He comes into the game and walks the bases loaded, and all Jose Ramirez has to do when he steps to the plate is hit one about 300 feet to right field for an easy sac fly, and they score and they win. They scored a run. They walked off a game in the bottom of the 7th, and they didn't get a hit. That's the weirdest freaking sentence I could ever come up with. They walked off the game in the bottom of the 7th, and they didn't get a hit. That's Indians baseball nowadays. that day. Henches gave up 4 early, too. He's been really up and down. Whatever. Sunday, game 1, they're playing Chicago. They lose that one 8-6. They battled back to force extras, which was nice. They were down 4-2 early, came back. Cesar Ahmed go yard to start the game, and then the offense just flatlined after that until later on. They force extras. They get to extras. Karinchak struggling. Then he gives up the bomb to Eaton. 3-run bomb. Adam Eaton is... that guy just kills the Indians, doesn't he? It seems like that dude, every time he steps to the plate against the Indians, he just kills them. I don't know what it is, because it's different pitching. I don't know how many times he's faced James Karinchak, but it can't be a lot. 1, 2, maybe 3. Adam Eaton steps into the game. 3-run bomb. Now, the Tribe does get one back, but they had the bases loaded, and Naylor hit into a double play, so, that kind of killed everything there. So, yeah, they scored one, but they could have came back. So I did like the fight in game 1 of that game, and then game 2 they turn around. Cal Quantrill spins a gem, 3 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, which the walks weren't good, but I like everything else. Bradley Zimmer, he gets called up, and I'll get to him a little later. He had an RBI. That was nice to see. Jose hits 2-run bomb. Tribe goes up 3-1, and bullpen takes it from there, does its job, wins it. Here's a stupid tidbit, okay? So I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing, all right, who was the pitcher and who got the win and all that. So Phil Maton on Monday, yesterday, Phil Maton got the win in game 2. He pitched 1 inning, gave up a hit, but it was in the 5th inning. So normally, 9-inning game, whoever closes out the 5th inning with the lead, and if that lead sustains, then he gets to win. He gets the win, right? That's why a starter needs to go 5 innings to qualify for the win. Well, in a 7-inning game, that should change, and it doesn't. So Cal Quantrill, he went 3 2/3 innings. That's more than half of a 7-inning game, and he didn't get the win because he didn't reach the 5th. You got to change the rules on that. If the game's going to be 7 innings, then the halfway marker to hit is maybe finish the 3rd or the 4th. You don't keep that in the 5th. You don't give the guy the win in the 5th inning just because that's how it happens. It's the same with taking away Madison Bumgarner's no-hitter. What was that, 3 weeks ago now? But it was a 7-inning game, so it doesn't count. No, he didn't choose it to be 7 innings. Neither did Cal Quantrill. No, the game is 7 innings, so the halfway point is 3. And you know what? If no one gets a hit in those 7 innings, it's a no-hitter. End of discussion. So I thought that was an interesting tidbit from that game. So, yeah, they played 29 innings in 32 hours. And you know what? For a normal team, that might not be too terrible. But with the injuries that this team has had to sustain, it was impossible. Not only the injuries, the up and downs of the entire rotation, not knowing who's going to pitch on a certain day, thanks to Zach Plesac. Logan Allen getting sent down a month ago. They really haven't figured it out from there. They're throwing Sam Henches out sometimes, or Phil Maton is thrown an inning, and then Quantrill comes in. And so there's already a hole in the 5th spot. Plesac goes down. Now the Indians have a bunch of games in 2 days, and they don't have anyone to pitch them. So I was impressed that they stole 2 of 4 from there. But the injuries, man, you had Jordan Luplow. He just went down. Franmil Reyes is out 5 to 7 weeks. We know Bebo's out 5 to 7 weeks. Should get him around probably the beginning of July, first, second week of July. And then, as I said, Zach Plesac goes down. So you would think, and I'm sure it did kill him. I'm sure everybody was tired, but you would think the injuries would kill them, right? But they haven't so far. I mean, the Indians right now, they're 3.5 games out of first place behind Chicago. They have a wild card spot if the season ended today. And I don't think the injuries are stopping them too much. So what happened? So a lot of injuries happen, and a lot of guys had to come up and down, and guys have had to take different roles. And so I'm going to get to that right now. So Jordan Luplow, he apparently he underwent an MRI on Saturday. It was for a left ankle injury, no structural issues, so that's good. But so with the Luplow injury that has forced Naylor to play the majority of right field, which is kind of fun to watch. I mean, Naylor himself is fun to watch, but I like watching him at first base. But since Luplow goes down and they don't want to bring up Daniel Johnson for whatever reason, Naylor has to play right field, which now means first base is being split between Yu Chang and Jake Bauers instead of Naylor and Jake Bauers. And you're like, all right, well, where's Harold Ramirez? Well, Harold Ramirez is playing center field because, remember, when Naylor would play right, Luplow would play center, or Ahmed Rosario would play center. But Ahmed's been so good at shortstop, and Andres Jimenez basically just doesn't play for the Indians at this point. You had to throw Harold Ramirez out there to field center field, so now your outfield, more or less every day, is Eddie Rosario, Harold Ramirez, and Naylor, all because Luplow goes down. And they even had to call Bradley Zimmer up because they need another outfielder for these last couple games. He'll probably get sent back down, but they had to bring him back up. Speaking about Harold Ramirez, he's been 217 his last 13 games, so it kind of sucks that Luplow went down in the last 2 weeks because he's not doing too well. Bradley Zimmer, 3 for 6, 2 RBI in the doubleheader yesterday. Come on, I wrote you off completely, man. I wrote Bradley Zimmer off completely. I thought he was a waste of time, too many injuries. Yeah, he was fast. He had an okay arm, but he couldn't hit it all. Hey, he looks like a man on a mission these last couple games. He had the game-winning hit on Sunday night, so I like to see that. And this is all just from Luplow. Now you get to Franmil Reyes. He's out 5 to 7 weeks, so they call up Owen Miller. We talked about that last week. He's been struggling, 4 hits, 32 ABs, but the big plus with Owen Miller, okay? He's DH'd twice. He's played first base once. He's played second base twice. He's played shortstop once. And he's played third base 3 times. So he's given every infielder a day off. Franmil Reyes couldn't do that. He's your DH, and that's how that goes. But Owen Miller comes up, and he can play anywhere in the infield. So now he's manned first base, once. Give Bauers and Chang a day off. He's manned second a couple times. Give Cesar a day off. He's given Jose a couple days off at third, and he's even taking some reps at short. So I like how they're using them. The average isn't there, but a utility infielder is something the Indians need right now because they thought they had some, but then they got pressed into everyday playing time, whether it's, not producing from some guys or just guys getting hurt. So Owen Miller coming up as a utility guy, it's nice to see. Obviously, we want the average to get up. But he's your replacement for Franmil. And you would think that killed the Indians, but 3.5 games back of the Chicago White Sox, who, they're 12 games over 500. They're rolling. You're not going to catch them. You're going for the wild card spot. At this point, you're 2 months in. You can say that. You're not going to catch the White Sox unless something crazy happens. And I know last week I said, well, the Indians could win the AL Central maybe with 87 wins because the White Sox might quit on Tony La Russa. They're not. They're raking again. They were not producing the last 2 weeks after that happened, but this week they're hitting 270. So I think the White Sox are back on track without Eloy Jimenez and without Luis Roberts. All right, so you're going for the wild card position, and they're in it. All right, so I found this interesting as well. I know I found a lot of things interesting so far. But I was looking because Roberto Perez is another big injury that they've had to overcome so far through the first 2 months of the year. Like I said, he's going to be out at least another month. So Austin Hedges, he's done the majority of the catching. 20 games in May, he can't hit. I wish they could DH for the catcher because I would DH for him and maybe let the pitcher go up because he'd probably get the same results. Austin Hedges hitting a .153 in May. He has a .415 OPS. That's gross and not in a good way. But what I do like from Austin Hedges, and you know what? Let's not pretend like Roberto Perez was a big threat with the bat anyways. So it's not like you had that much on offense to replace, and Austin Hedges is probably doing just as good of a job at hitting as Roberto Perez would have done. But what he's doing even better than Roberto Perez, besides catching Shane Bieber, all right? Besides catching Shane Bieber, he has been a beast on the defensive side of the ball. He has been a beast behind the plate. I didn't look at throwdowns. I've seen him nab a couple guys at second, but more his blocking and his framework outstanding. He has 4 defensive runs saved right now. He is 6th in defensive WAR in all of Major League Baseball, and he has split time between 3 different guys because Rene Rivera has been called up because Roberto Perez went out. And you know what? Rene Rivera, 37 years old, he was out of the league early in his career, and then he came back, and then he was out a year, and then 2013 he's been in the league every single year. But he's 37 years old. He's batting .292 in 24 at-bats. So, yeah, not a huge sample size, but when he gets to the plate, he's producing. We haven't seen a catcher produce since Carlos Santana was a catcher, maybe. Or maybe even Victor Martinez. I mean, yeah, Perez had that year in 2019, but consistently. So that's kind of fun to watch. No, it's not going to hold up, but it's fun to watch now. So Austin Hedges has had to step in for Berto, which brings up Rene Rivera. And you know what? He's had a few clutch hits. He's had a few timely RBI this year. So I kind of like the 37-year-old. But the gist of all this, I guess, is the injuries are not slowing him down. Luplow goes down. Harold Ramirez and Naylor pick up the slack. Okay, first base wasn't producing anyway, so Yu Chang stepping in doesn't really change anything. Franmil goes down. Yes, you lose the bat, but you get utility work out of Owen Miller, so that's nice because that gives everybody a day off, keeps them a little fresher. Maybe they produce a little more. Who knows? Berto going down brings up Rene Rivera. He's won a couple games for us, or helped the Tribe win a couple games, so that's nice. And then, now, we got to get to the dumbass of the hour, and it hurts me to say it, but I just got to be real about it. Zach Plesac, come on, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? So you're gonna pitch not good. You're gonna pitch like crap. You're gonna go to the clubhouse, rip off your jersey in anger like your name's Bruce Banner, and when your arm flies off with the jersey, there's a chair right there, and you break your hand on the chair? What? What are you doing? You have had bad starts before. Why is this one any different? What are you doing, man? So now, and that's the injury that really set it off. Okay, so Plesac going down. Logan Allen had already been sent down a month ago. Tristan McKenzie had already been sent down 2 weeks ago, but called back up to make a spot start. Okay, so he got called up. What was that? What on Tuesday against the White Sox? Or no, not against the White Sox. Anyway, what was that? Tuesday, Wednesday? Anyways, I'm not going to look it up. He looked great. So Tristan gets called up. He looks great. Apparently, according to the broadcast, Terry Francona told him, whatever happens, you're already going to get sent back down to Columbus, which, if you're on Twitter and you follow Tristan McKenzie, he tweeted 26. That was just the tweet. The number's 26. I think because that was to mean that he's the 26th man on the roster, which is true. I don't know how he was supposed to take it. But he pitched really well that day. 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. But he looked not happy on the mound when he was doing it, and he didn't look happy walking off the mound. Like, he just looked like he didn't want to be there because he was going to be sent back down. But because of the Plesac injury and because of the rainouts, Tristan McKenzie was not sent back down. No! He starts yesterday against the White Sox, goes 5 1/3, gives up 4 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, Ks 10. He strikes out 8 in a row at one point, which sets a club record. So that was nice. He settled in early yesterday after some early struggles. Maybe he just needed a little kick in the ass or, a little wake-up call. But he comes back. He looked frustrated the first start. Yesterday, he looks more there, so maybe he stays up. But this is all messing with Tristan McKenzie's brain because Zach Plesac nails his hand on a chair. So next, and the rain delays. Delays didn't help either. So now you got to go into Game 2 against Chicago. Cal Quantrill has to pitch a game. He finally starts a game. Makes me feel a little smart because I feel pretty dumb about, I keep saying Cal Quantrill's probably going to start. Then they don't start him. But he started a game yesterday, and he goes 3 2/3, gives up 4 hits, a run, no walks, 5 Ks. Great start for Cal Quantrill. Should have got the win if they knew how to adjust 7-inning games. They had to bring up Eli Morgan to start a game, okay? He starts in that monsoon on Friday, gives up a bunch of runs. I don't think it's fair to fault him for any of it because they shouldn't have pitched at all. They shouldn't have played at all. They shouldn't have played on Friday. Saturday was better weather than Friday. Friday was ridiculous to play in. It looked like Jin Ryu, the pitcher for Toronto, it looked like his jersey was going to fly off. The end of his jersey looked like a flag waving in the air in center field. I mean, that was crazy. They shouldn't have played. He didn't get out of the third. He gave up 8 hits, 6 runs. Not a good debut for him, but I mean, my God, you're not supposed to make a debut and come back absolutely just soaked. Sam Hentges had to start a game. This is all because Zach Plesac hit his hand and the rain. So that's the big fallout. I wrote that down right when Zach Plesac got hurt. Okay, so he got hurt last Tuesday, an hour after I released this podcast, which pissed me off because if they just announced it an hour earlier, it would have been in the podcast, and I would have been on top of it, and I would have been one of the first ones to talk about it, but I wasn't because it happened right after the thing dropped, and I was pissed. Anyways, so that was the big fallout. I was waiting to see what happens, what dominoes fall, because Plesac goes out of the rotation, and they already don't possess a fifth starter. And what happened is Cal Quantrill starting a game, Sam Hentges starting a game, Eli Morgan starting a game, and Tristan McKenzie getting called up from Columbus to start a game, and then being told he was going to be sent down, but then not being sent down and starting another game. A lot of stuff to overcome, a lot of stuff to get through, and they are still 3.5 games out of first place, and they hold the second wild card spot. How do they do it? I don't freaking know. I don't know. I don't get it. I have concerns. Absolutely, I have concerns. What is Tristan McKenzie? Has he gotten his control under order, or did he just have a good start and a half? You know, what is Cal Quantrill? Is he going to stay in the bullpen, or are they going to try to stretch him out more? Maybe get 5 innings out of him next time. Is Eli Morgan going to pitch again? Why do they keep throwing Sam Hentges out there? You know, there's a bunch of questions to be asked, and I don't know if they're going to be answered anytime soon. You have 3 pitchers right now. Right? You have Bieber. You have Savali. Oh, geez. And I guess Tristan now. You got to roll with Tristan. They have 2 pitchers. They have 2 solid pitchers, Bieber and Savali. After that, because it was Plesac, McKenzie, Allen at the start of the year. And then Allen went down, and they never didn't fix that. They just flying by night on that one. Tristan gets sent down. And now Plesac gets hurt. So they have 2 solid starters, and then the rest is up in the air. So they're going to have to figure that out. It's probably going to look like Eli Morgan and Cal Quantrill. And Tristan, there's no doubt he'll stay up. But who are you going to go to? You got Scott Moss down there, and then you got Logan Allen you can call back up. Scott Moss ain't doing too well. Where they are in the standings after everything they've gone through, everything we bitched about in the offseason because they didn't spend money, and look, that's still valid. They would probably be in first place if they spent any amount of money this offseason, but they didn't. I don't know what to say. They lose an outfielder. They lose a DH. They lose their starting silver slugger or former silver slugger. And, wow, why was that hard to say? Silver slugger. There you go. And current Gold Glove winner in Roberto Perez. And then you lose Zach Plesac. And you still take 2 of 4 from back-to-back doubleheaders. I don't know how they do it. That is something I love to see. Because I can't believe it. So I guess we'll start the love to see. Hate to see it. I know I've been all over this podcast, but I'm trying to sum up what they've done in the first 2 months, and I think some of it's breaking my brain, okay? So I'll just go in it. I love to see it. I love to see that the Indians are 3.5 games out of first place. I love to see that they're tied for a wild card spot. I think there's something to be said about that. Whether it's the leaders in the clubhouse or it's Terry Francona and his coaching staff with Sandy Alomar Jr. and everyone else in there, Carl Willis, there's something to be said for everything going on, the injuries, the demotions. You know, you had the injuries, Luplow, Fran Mill, Plesac, Bebo, sent down Allen. You've been throwing henches normally. Bieber's been up and down, you know? There's something to be said. Different guys have produced, and no, their season numbers or even their last 2-week splits or their last month splits, they haven't been good, but you know what? Harold Ramirez has produced at times. Bradley Zimmer came up this weekend and produced in a big way. Brian freaking Shaw has been lights out. He's walked a lot of guys, but they haven't hurt him somehow, so that's fine. Keep doing what you're doing, Brian Shaw, but none of us expected that 2 months ago. Ahmed Rosario got hot for a minute, and he helped the Indians win a couple ball games there. And Rene Rivera, he gets called up because Bebo goes down. He's hitting .292 and 24 ABs. So I love to see it. Love to see the resilience of the Cleveland Indians baseball team. Don't ask me how they're doing it. No statistics tell you they should be doing it. No sabermetrics tell you they should be doing it. But they're above 500, and they're in second place in the division. All right. Another thing I love to see. Shane Bieber coming back. Come on. I didn't even touch it yet. He takes a no-no into the 7th inning. Come on, man. I thought we were going to get no-no number 6 of the Major League season. But no, the Indians still don't have one since Len Barker in 1980. But he takes a no-no into the 7th. Nothing like a Detroit Tigers start to just get you right back on track, huh? No-no into the 7th. He Ks 12. He loses the no-no and the shutout on a bomb to Jonathan Scope. That's fine. The Tribe still won the game. But what I really loved, yes, I love taking a no-no into the 7th. That's always fun. I love K and 12. But what I loved was how far he went into that game, how far he was able to go. Because normally his pitch count gets into the hundreds. You're creeping there around late 5th, 6th innings. And this was his first start of 7 innings since April 24th. When he dueled with Garrett Cole in the New York Yankees. And so I love to see it. Love to see him go 7 innings. Love to see him take a no-no, obviously, into the 7th. What I hate to see, my boy, Zack The Bozo Plesac. Dude, just take your jersey off like you do every other day. You're not Bruce Banner. You're not the Hulk. You don't need to be ripping your shirt off just because you had a bad start. You've had bad starts before. You're going to have them in the future. You don't got to be banging your hand on a chair, taking off your jersey. Because I just went through how you screwed the entire rotation that was already kind of screwed. Eli Morgan had to make a debut in a monsoon. Kind of because of you. Tristan McKenzie's brain's getting all scrambled because he's gone up and down from Columbus in his brain at least 8 times this week. He's had to start 2 games because of you. Sam Hentges has to keep pitching baseball games partly because of you. What the hell, man? They need you. All right. Well, cue the music. Time for your AL Central roundup here. We'll start with the standings. White Sox 33-21 on the year. They've won 7 of their last 10. They have a run differential of plus 80 now, so they are raking and also pitching. Indians 29-24, 3.5 back, 5-5 in the last 10, run differential of -7. The Royals are 500 at 26-26, 6 games back of the White Sox. They've won 6 of 4 in their last 10. They've kind of been getting hot. Run differential up to -19. Minnesota Twins have jumped back into 4th place. They're 22-31, 7 games back of the White Sox for first. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They have a run differential -21, and the Detroit Tigers 22-32, 11 games back of first place, and they are 4-6 in their last 10, run differential -55. So we'll start with the White Sox. They are on a roll. They're getting off a 4-game sweep of the Orioles. They took 2 of 3 from the Cardinals. Obviously, they split yesterday with the Tribe. Also on Saturday, they gave away a Tim Anderson bat flip bobblehead from 2 years ago, and I think that's really freaking awesome. Their batting average jumped up in the last 7 days. They hit .263 the last week, which the last 14 games they hit .228, which tells you how bad they were hitting right after the Tony La Russa, your mean Mercedes thing. So they're heating back up, which is a scary thing for the AL Central. On to the Kansas City Royals. They lost 2 of 3 to Tampa. They took 2 of 3 from the Twins. They beat the Pirates last night, and they have 2 more against them, so you can probably give them 2 more wins. They start a 4-gamer against Minnesota on Thursday, so that is interesting. That is going to have a lot of implications on the line for standings, because the Twins and Royals are only there's only a 3-game difference there between 3rd and 4th place, so that could be interesting. The Royals offense doing well, hitting .261 in the last week. Pitching is better. They only gave up over 3 runs in the last week twice, which, if you remember last week, they gave up 4 more runs in 4 games, I think it was. So their pitching is getting better as well. We go to the Twins. I just said they lost 2 of 3 to the Royals. They swept Baltimore. They beat Baltimore last night as well. Baltimore is on a 14-game losing streak, so I would assume Minnesota is going to win again tonight. Over the last 14 days, the Twins have an ERA of 3.59, season ERA of 4.57, so the pitching is getting better for the Twinkies. And the Detroit Tigres, they just swept the Yankees. They swept the Yankees, and they won again last night. That's 4 in a row for them, and they've won 4 of their last 6, so they weren't doing too well. Moving forward for 2022 and beyond, I think the Tigers might be more of a threat than the Royals and the Twins. As weird as that sounds, but their pitching has looked pretty good. They have a no-hitter under their belt. Casey Mize has done well. They have a few prospects that are finally hitting the major leagues. They have that third baseman, I forget his name, Torkelson, I think it is. He hit a home run, didn't he? So yeah, they have a couple guys. They got young pitching. They got young hitting coming up. I'm going to worry about Detroit for 2022 and beyond more than Minnesota and Kansas City. All right, so that is your AL Central roundup for June 1st, 2021. Coming up for your Cleveland Indians, they have 2 more against the White Sox tonight and tomorrow. Tonight it is a Shane Bieber day, taking on Dylan Cease for the White Sox. Cease comes into the game with a 2.98 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Strikes out a bunch of guys, so it should be a good pitcher's duel, or maybe Bieber's start against the Tigers was just that, a start against the Tigers, and the White Sox knock him around the yard. But the only saving grace I will have is yesterday, Shane Bieber turned 25. So yesterday was his birthday. Today, kind of a birthday start. Maybe he shows out on his birthday. Who knows? After these 2 games, you got a weekend series with the Baltimore. Everyone else is sweeping the Orioles, so why can't the Indians? Baltimore's on a 14-game losing streak. What I do hope, though, I hope they end that losing streak before the Indians get to town, because I can really see the Indians being the team that breaks that losing streak for the Orioles and finally gives them a win. Right, you can see it, right? I could see it. So I don't want them being that team that loses to the Orioles. I hope someone else does. All right. That's all I got. Thanks for joining me. Episode number 10. Can't believe it. I'll be back next week, obviously, for episode 11, because that's how numbers work. Appreciate you joining me once again. As always, please, 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 please subscribe, rate, share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your grandma. Your grandma's going to be confused, but tell her anyways. It You might get a fun face that she makes when she's like, what the hell's a podcast? Or you got a super hip grandma, and she's like, yeah, I'm already subscribed. So be like hip grandma and subscribe to the podcast today on Apple, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. Yep, those are the 4. All right, I'm out of here. Again, appreciate you joining me. I'm Zach Harley, and until next time, be a good person. Be a great person. Do something nice for someone. See you next week.